Lucía, no sé si estás por ahí.
Hola,
Manifiéstate.
buenas.
Lucía, hola, encantada de verte.
Igualmente.
¿Tú también te vas a animar con estas nuevas sesiones en vivo?
Yo me animo, sí, aquí vamos a tope.
Bueno, cuéntanos un poquito de qué vas a hablar y también aprovecha y preséntate un poquito a los que estamos por aquí.
Vale, pues nada, yo soy Lucia Manzano, trabajo como analista de Big Data, que bueno, veremos en la charla un poco lo que es. Y bueno, la charla que traigo hoy no es una charla muy técnica, pero bueno, quería para afianzar algunos conceptos de Big Data y de data science y tal, que lo solemos escuchar mucho, pero muchas veces a lo mejor nos quedamos sin algunos detalles que para diferenciarlos bien. Entonces, bueno, vengo a contar un poco así de teoría y luego un par de ejemplos que, bueno, depende del tiempo que vaya quedando, pues contaré uno, dos o tres ejemplos que he preparado sobre aplicaciones de Big Data que pueden ser interesantes y para que veamos todo el potencial que tiene. Bueno, la charla la traigo en inglés, que he venido con todo, pero si luego alguien quiere preguntar algo en inglés, español, lo que haga falta, lo vemos.
Bueno, pues cuando quieras nos compartes la pantalla y nos cuentas.
Si tienes
Perfecto.
sonido, acuérdate de habilitar el sonido
Ah, sí,
arriba.
no tengo, pero lo voy a poner por si acaso. No vaya
Vale,
por ahí.
Vale.
Muchas gracias. A ver, lo veis, ¿no? Por ahí creo.
se ve perfecto.
Está por aquí. Vale. So hi, I'm Lucia Manzano, and today I'm going to talk about the famous big data. And we're going to talk about it for around 20 minutes to honor the title of this session, a small talk about big data. First, thank you very much, Jonas, for inviting me to be here today with you. And all the amazing women who are organizing this event and are helping us today. And thank you everyone who is attending too, because this doesn't make sense. That will be possible without you, of course. I really hope you enjoy this session and learn a lot. Please don't hesitate to write your question in the chat any moment, or even you can turn on your microphones and cut me. I will stop and answer any question. You can question in English or Spanish. It's completely okay. Well, so first I want to talk a little bit about me, so you get to know me before I start. Even in English, because I was talking before in Spanish, you may know that from my accent, I'm from the south of Spain. I'm from Sevilla, but I'm currently living in Madrid. I work at Telefónica as a big data business intelligence analyst. We see what this means in this presentation. And in my spare time, I volunteer as a managing director for the nonprofit Girls in Tech Spain. I invite you all to check out our website and social media to know what we do, and also if you would like to join or collaborate as a hub. Apart from this, I'm a computer engineer, and I'm currently doing a master's degree in bioinformatics and biostatistics, which is quite related to big data. We see how. Should we start? So let's go. I know. So what are we going to talk about today? Today's agenda is this that you can see, and there are four basic points that we're going to talk about. This session is not very technical, as I was saying before. It's an introductory session, but if at the end you want to know more, please send me an email and we send you some examples to start working with big data. So today's agenda is what's big data, basics, big data science, data mining, business intelligence, artificial intelligence, machine learning, and deep learning. A lot of concepts that we're going to talk about. Also, we're going to talk about different job roles that we can find in companies related to big data, so we can understand it better and don't mix them up, which is quite common, I think. In this way, we can see which one we like more in case we want to have a career in this sector. Finally, some examples about thinking outside of the box, because we must know that there are no limits with data. The limit is our imagination. So, what's big data? It is any big amount of data from which we can extract which information can be extracted and utilized. What does it mean? That we don't only need a lot of data, but we also need this data so that it can be utilized in order to get information about it. Not any group of data is big data. We need to have an inner relation between all the information. Okay, so let's get to the basics. We're gonna see more information about the data. So in case that we have any question about that. So we're gonna see today a total of 7 basic concepts that we normally mix. First of all, big data. We already talked about that. So any big amount of data that have some connection between them, there is some relation between the information. Then we have data science, which is the science that studies the extraction of knowledge from data. When we didn't have so much data, our data science was just called statistics. Data science actually is a mix between statistics and informatics. Do you remember the name of my master's? It was called bioinformatics and biostatistics, both together because they are really related to big data. And then we have another concept, which is data mining, that explores big amount of data and looks for patterns, tendencies, and repetitive models. On the other hand, very small, we're going to say here the business intelligence, which is the use of this data to take business decisions. Although you see here separately, it's based on data science. All these concepts needs also something that is called artificial intelligence. And what's artificial intelligence? It's a group of algorithms whose object is to simulate the process of human intelligence. To do this, use learning and training, and thanks to artificial intelligence, an algorithm is able to learn and generate patterns from data. About learning, we have 2 different concepts: the machine learning and the deep learning. On one side, machine learning is a part of artificial intelligence that focus on learning through algorithms based on statistics as regressions and decision trees. If you may have learned anything about that, or that sounds to you. Also, we have deep learning, which is a part of machine learning that only use neural networks to learn from data. Okay, so having seen the basis, we're gonna see the roles. So these are the different job roles that we can find inside companies. So it will help us to know maybe where we want to be in the future or even where we are at the moment. So the first one that we want to talk about is the data architect, who is a person who designs the architecture, decide the platform that we're going to use and how to synchronize them. Then we have the data engineer who extracts and manages data. We have the data and the machine learning engineer who creates machine learning models and deploys them. The data governance expert who is responsible of the data governance and methodologies and the work environment. Then we have the data analyst who writes reports, connects the data with the business information, make processes and business intelligence. Maybe this sounds familiar to you because at the beginning of the session I talked about my job at Telefonica, and I say that I'm a big data business intelligence analyst. So I am data analyst. So now you know what I do exactly, my job. Well, finally, we have the data scientist, who is a mix between the data engineer, the machine learning engineer, and the data analyst. And as we said before, let's have in mind that the data science is part statistics, but it's also part informatics. So it's like a mix in this role. And well, after all the information that I have told you, and I hope that it was not too much theory, not too boring. We're gonna start with the fun part of this session, that is the out of the box examples. So, which are simply examples of big data in different circumstances. So I want you to see how powerful is big data, how many things we can do about that, and also how important it is to open our mind and be able to see through the data to get how we can get more information that we think from something that we have. So to begin, okay, let's imagine like a multimedia company like Netflix, Disney Plus, or even Movistar I work for. Who is in front of the screen watching the shows, the movies that they play? So it could be friends, it could be, we have here some animals, it could be couples, it could be single people, it could be old people, it could be kids. So imagine that to offer our customers a show or another, we would like to know the age of the people in front of the screen, but not only the person who actually signs the contract, but all the people who actually use our service. Let's suppose that we have the age of some of our customers because we send a survey and some of them fill it. Okay, so maybe the ones on the left. Okay, we only have these ones. So we are going to use this data to create a model and predict the age of the rest of our customers. Before continue, I really want to say that we're not talking about data protection in this session, which data could be used or not, because that would be too much information and requires a session by itself. But please just know that not all the data could be used without the consent of the customer. Well, knowing this, that is very important. Let's go back to our model. We could see that we have a lot of information about our customers. We have the audience, the hours that they use our service, address, real-time location, IDs like passport ID, or for Spain we have the Spanish ID number. We have the credit card or the bank account number that they used to pay us. Then we can see where do they use our service, like a tablet, like a phone, the TV, and which brand they use. Like, are they using an iPhone? Which iPhone are they using? A Samsung TV? Which or what service they use, and loan, etc. So we have a lot of information about them. Probably many of you are already thinking that the time at which they use our service, they watch our TV, our shows, could tell us the age. If they watch a show during working times, probably they are retired, for example. However, you could guess there are more reasons why a person watches a show during working times. Maybe that person has a different schedule, or he or she is on leave or unemployed. As you see, this is not exact science. We have factors that could give us an idea about the age of the people, but this is just a possibility. It will be more or less accurate depending on the model that we build. So, which attributes could give us information about the age of our customers? It is obvious to think, maybe it's not obvious to think that if they sorry. So it is obvious to think that if they watch a show or another, we can think about the age too. This would be like another example that of typical data that we use for this. But there are more information hide this data that we have. Like for example, I see we have the credit card, the bank account of our customers. So can that give us some information about the age? Well, maybe at first we think that no, which information about age can we get from that? But isn't it true that young people normally have like a tendency to go to more online banks, like for example, ING? Old people normally, older people normally like more to go to the bank office, so they prefer not to use the internet to connect to the banks. So having the credit card or the bank account, we know which bank they're using, so and that could give us an idea of the age too. Well, then this attribute in our model, we have like a heavier weight or a less weight depending how important it is. But this is something that we could use. And maybe at first when we see the data, we don't think that this could be like a good information about the age. Well, please remember again that we are not talking about, I'm not taking into consideration here the data protection laws. Having said this, I probably think that maybe some of you already think about some other attributes will be like not the normal ones but that we can use to get the age of our customers. So I just wanted you to show this. And then, well, we still have some time, so let's see another example. I really like this one because I think it's very important. So we shouldn't undervalue the information that we have. So let's think about the global population and a very severe health problem that we have, which is cancer. Of course, big data is used to treat cancer. For this, it's very important to get a lot of relevant data from patients who have the illness. We all agree on this, right? Lately, several scientific publications talk about biases and discrimination when collecting medical data. Why? Mainly because most of the cancer research is made in Europe or the United States, and the people who can get medical assistance for this illness are mainly in these two regions of the world. And not only this, also in the United States, where there is no free public health system, most of the patients are men, white, and rich. What are the consequences? That in that country, some of the treatments that has been obtained using big data don't work with people who are not white. This is a huge problem, as you can see, because people from minorities, we have a higher mortality of cancer because they don't receive a treatment updated to their characteristics. To solve this, there are options, there are ways of solving this. We need to set the race, very important attribute, and don't undervalue this this variable. Also, we need many more people from different races to train our model. So, having seen also this example, we're gonna see the last one, which I think is a very funny one. I wanted to talk to you to see. I want you to see this example because it shows you how powerful is big data and machine learning, that we can foresee the future. So I don't know if if any of you have been in the United States before, and if you have seen this supermarket called Target. I never been in this one, but this case is about Target, about this company. So this happens in the United States, as I say. There was a newspaper called New York Times, I guess all of you know, that talk about this story there with the headline, How Companies Know Your Secrets. And then the Forbes magazine also talk about this with an even better headline called How Target Found Out That a Teenage Girl Was Pregnant Before her father. So I guess that with this second headline, you really know more or less what I'm going to talk about. So in 2011, the managers of Target decided that they would like to know which families were expecting a baby to get them as customers before the baby is born, when they become very profitable customers, of course. Target assigned an anonymous code to every customer, which was saved on a database with everything that they buy, and demographics data that the self gave to the company based on surveys, and also that the target bought to a third party. So, so it's true that companies buy data, and that's legal actually. Apart from this, they also have a historical record of women who had a baby before. With all this foreign information, they hired a mathematician called Andrew Paul to check all this information, collect them, and get a model to predict when a woman is pregnant based on what she bought. Thanks to this model, sorry, they learned that that women in the second trimester of pregnancy buy a lot of body lotion. During the first 20 weeks of pregnancy, they buy a lot of dietary supplements such as calcium, magnesium, and zinc. Same with a list of 25 products, and even the model could predict when was expected due date, which may sound crazy, but this is how powerful big data is. Having all this information, so you could send discounts coupons in time for different moments of pregnancy and birth. Let's see an example to understand this better. Imagine a girl named Mary, 33 years old, from New York, in March. She bought aloe vera and body lotion and a big bag where you can put baby stuff, dietary supplements, zinc and magnesium, and a pink carpet. The algorithm would tell that she's pregnant with a probability of 83% and that the baby is expected late August. Could even the baby be a girl because of the pink carpet? So the surprise of this algorithm comes the next year when a man becomes very angry at one of the Target shops in Minneapolis, asking to talk to the manager because his daughter, who was still in high school, received the discount coupons for baby clothes, and therefore the company is pushing teenagers to get pregnant. That day, the manager just apologized for this. Some days after, the manager called back to the father to apologize again, but this time the man wasn't that angry anymore. He had found out that, in fact, his daughter was actually pregnant. This story shows us how powerful big data is at predicting the future and how many possibilities it has for good or bad. Because on the other side, we see that it can be very intrusive, like this example. In this case, for example, Target saw this mixing the coupons with information that they predict with some general coupons so it doesn't look that aggressive to the people who receive them. So, well, let me know if you have any questions. Yes, you can talk, inform me anytime, or write in the chat. I cannot see now because I have two screens, but I will check now. And also, I leave you here. You have my LinkedIn. You have the QR for my LinkedIn. This is my Twitter. I put that bird that doesn't look like Twitter. That's okay. And you have my email. Just please don't hesitate to send me an email, to contact me anywhere, any form, because we haven't seen much tech stuff like programming, but I have plenty of information. So if you want to start with it or try anything, just contact me and I can send you some code, or we can talk about anything about this. Yes. Thank you for inviting me, and thank you for listening. So let me stop sharing my screen. Okay, thank you.
Bueno, muchas gracias, Lucía.
Gracias.
Bueno, madre mía,
Ahora.
Big Data, ¿eh? Nos queda por ahí.
Lo que se puede sacar de ahí mucho.
Sí,
¿Se
sí.
utilizará algo parecido en supermercados españoles? Porque yo lo de las mujeres embarazadas me ha dejado sorprendida.
La verdad que es increíble cómo se puede detectar. Además que le decía la fecha, porque claro, en cada trimestre ibas comprando una cosa distinta. Es que no nos imaginamos la potencia que hay todavía de los datos.
Pero ¿no os acordáis cuando hace muchos años empezaban con la Travel Club, con todas estas tarjetas de fidelización que te daban puntitos? Pues ¿para qué era? Para coger información.
Sí.
Madre mía, la de
Aquí
bases
no
de
de
datos que
gratis.
tiene que haber por ahí con nuestros
Sí.
datos.
No
Wow.
se regala nada. Cuando dicen cuando algo es gratis, no, el producto somos nosotros, entonces con nuestros datos. Así que
Así que nada,
Pues
nada.
nada, Lucía, muchísimas gracias. Hemos
a
dejado
vosotros.
por ahí también tu LinkedIn y tus datos de contacto.
Muchas gracias.
Y yo por mi parte felicitarte porque tu inglés es fantástico, magnífico y quien lo pillara, ¿sabes?
Gracias, ahí hacemos lo que podemos.
¿Quién lo pillara? Me ha gustado.
Pues nada, muchísimas gracias, Lucía.
Gracias, chicas. Un besito.
Hasta ahora.
Venga, hasta luego.